Happy Monday, friends. I am AnnaLee Dragon, the director of the Kinderhook Memorial Library, and I'm back with another book talk. And this week is an unboxing week, and I actually got so many books because it's the beginning of the year, and I am prone to overenthusiasm in every fashion. I bought so many books that I'm actually going to do a few unboxing videos from this one order because there were so many good things and I couldn't talk about them all, even with the speed at which I speak, which I've been told is impressive, but you should hear what it's like inside my head. I can barely keep up. So I thought we would start with the first of these unboxing videos with some new books by favorite authors, people that you know and love and probably have been waiting for this next book to come out. And they're here and I'm very excited about it. So while many of these probably have holds lists, you can certainly put your name on the holds list or give us a call and we can do it for you. And then you'll be in line to get the book. And some of them may be available. I'm not sure. We haven't checked them all in yet, but I'm working on that. So I thought I've got a bunch of books to get through, so I'm just gonna kind of run through them. I haven't read them because they are brand new, but these ones I'm not worried about. These are all people that you guys already read and love, so I don't think they need too much selling in that way. And then I've got another book talk from this unboxing that will be about the nonfiction books that I got in, and then another one about some fiction, but by lesser known or newer authors that you might be excited to read about. So I've got a couple weeks worth of this coming. So yay for unboxings. For those of you who haven't watched before, what I do is when I order books for the library and they come, I open up the boxes and I show you what I got for all of us. So it's really what we got. I shouldn't sound selfish. They're not for me. They're for all of you. So let's get started. And I will show, I'm going to hold up the books, but I will show the covers at the end of the video. So if you miss one or you didn't catch a name, watch till the end of the video or skip ahead and you'll see the covers of each of the books at the end of the video. Okay? All right. So the first one I have here in front of me is Michael Connelly. It's a Lincoln Lawyer novel, which is one of his series. This one's called The Law of Innocence. I apologize for the glare. Again, I'll put the covers at the end. So this one is just a continuation of his story about Mickey Haller, who is the Lincoln lawyer. And this is another, as they call it, heart-stopping new thriller. He is a New York Times bestselling author, Michael Connelly, and law and legal drama is sort of his game. And so if you are a fan of John Grisham or just of his other books, then this is the next one in the series. So I'm eager to have this on the shelf. I'm sure it will be flying out of the library in no time at all. The next one I have is a little bit of fantasy, which is not uncommon. So it's Nora Roberts' new book. She is a very prolific author. She has written, generally she writes trilogies. So this one is called The Awakening, if you can see that title. And it is the Dragonheart Legacy Book 1. So this is the beginning of a new, I'm guessing, trilogy from her, solely because there are just a ton of either trilogies or quartets, she calls them, when there are 4 books in them. So this one does involve this little blurb I'll just read you because it's fantasy. In the realm of Talam, a teenager named Keegan emerges from a lake holding a sword representing both power and the terrifying responsibility to protect the Fae. In another realm known as Philadelphia, a less magical realm, I might argue, a young middle school teacher has just discovered she possesses a treasure of her own. So if you're into fantasy meets reality, this sounds like it would be right up your alley. And if you're a Nora Roberts fan, for sure. I'm partial just because my last name is Dragon, and this is part of the Dragonheart Legacy series. So, okay, next up is a new book by Lisa Gardner. Huge author, writes a lot of thrillers, page turners, a la Girl on a Train kind of stories. This one's called Before She Disappeared. It's from New York Times bestselling author Lisa Gardner, a propulsive thriller that introduces Frankie Elkin, an ordinary woman who will stop at nothing to find the missing people the rest of the world has given up on. So that sort of reminds me of, like, there are all these police procedural TV shows that are cold cases about things that have been unsolved and stuck in a box and left forgotten, and somebody comes back and solves the mystery. So that sounds like what this is along the lines of. It got a lot of praise. People love her and this book. So it's nuanced and complex, it says, and it says that she knows how to set a hook better than anyone, for those of you fishermen out there who are also readers. So Lisa Gardner, Before She Disappeared. Okay, next book, we actually have 2 by this author because he is just that prolific. We have got 2 James Pattersons. So the first is called The Russian, which he's writing with James Bourne, and it is a Detective Michael Bennett thriller. So it goes along with that series for those of you who read some of those. It says a killer crashes Detective Michael Bennett's long-anticipated wedding. So he's an NYPD detective, and if you've read any of those books, this is James Patterson's next. Definitely a page turner. They always are. People rip right through these, and thank goodness he writes so many, because then they always have plenty to choose from. And then the other James Patterson is part of the NYPD Red series. This is NYPD Red 6. And he writes these ones with this one with Marshall Karp. And it is the first time in print, it says, which is exciting. This isn't a reprint or anything. And it says, my most elite crime fighting force hasn't seen anything like this before. Reality star Erin Easton's wedding of the century may have a cable crew documenting every extravagant bridal detail, but when she disappears before the ceremony, it's no diva turn. So this has other books coming this summer in the series, it says, so you might want to catch up before the next one comes out so you don't miss out. NYPD Red 6 by James Patterson. Okay, then we've got, along the same lines, some other authors who people who love James Patterson tend to enjoy. David Baldacci, he has a new one called Daylight. It's an AnnaLee Pine thriller who was one of his characters. FBI agent AnnaLee Pine's search for her sister, Mercy, clashes with military investigator John Puller's high-stakes case, leading them both deep into a worldwide conspiracy from which neither will escape unscathed. So all of these books, I'm sensing a theme, right? Like there's a lot of thrillers, there's a lot of page turners, and I would argue a lot of escapism. And I think that's perfect for this time of year and for the situation we find ourselves in. What's better than to escape in a book? So if you are looking for something that'll get your heart racing without having to leave your couch, which is my speed entirely, you might enjoy any or all of these books. So David Baldacci's Daylight. And then we've got Stuart Woods has a new one also called Hush Hush. And it's a Stone Barrington novel. So you see most of these series have a main character that you're following throughout. Many of them I think can be read as standalones, but you can also definitely read them in order if you're interested in the progression of the character, I suppose, as opposed to just the story. So Stone Barrington faces down a rival with cutting-edge tactics in this heart-racing thriller from the New York Times bestselling author. So this is just a straight thriller book, and he has written more than 80 novels. So if you are a fan of Stuart Woods and Stone Barrington, his character, and we're waiting, maybe this is the next read. But also, if you've never tried one before, you might want to pick it up and see what you think. And again, if you're interested in character progression, you could always go back and start from the beginning. Okay, so then one more book by a really well-known author who has actually passed away, but his books are being written by somebody else now. We see this with a few authors. This is Robert B. Parker's Someone to Watch Over Me, and it's written by Ace Atkins, who has written a number of these now. So he picked up the characters and the style of writing of the Robert B. Parker series, but it's not Robert B. Parker writing them anymore. So he has done this for a while. This is not the first one of these books written this way. So this says, in the latest thriller featuring legendary Boston PI Spencer and his young protege Maddie Sullivan take on a billionaire money manager running a network of underage girls for his rich and powerful clients. So again, a thriller, some espionage, some police activity. So it just sounds like a real page turner. And if you enjoy this one, there are, first of all of the Robert B. Parker books that were written originally, and then these ones that Ace Atkins has followed up with. It's an interesting thing because they come with the spine label saying ATK for Atkins, the author's name, but I always end up changing them to PAR for Parker because the people who are looking for these books are looking under Robert Parker, not under Ace Atkins. So just an interesting little library tidbit in case you're wondering. It's all about how people will find the books they're looking for and how we can make that easier as opposed to following the letter of rule in that it should be the author's last name. Okay, so I have 2 other books here that are ones that I'm excited about, and I don't know how many of you are big fans, but Ready Player One, which was made into a movie about an alternate reality, people living basically in virtual reality in a video game because the world has gotten very difficult. That was Ready Player One, and they made it into a movie, and now Ernest Cline, the author, is back with Ready Player Two. So I'm very excited to read this one. I enjoyed the first one very much, and if you're into video games and that sort of stuff, this might be right up your alley. And then the last one I wanted to talk about is Solutions and Other Problems by AnnaLee Brosh. And this is a graphic novel. You see the pictures and stuff inside. She wrote one called Hyperbole and a Half that was fantastic and literally made me cry. I laughed so hard. So I was super excited to see that she was coming out with another one about her life. The graphic novel format's great. The cartoons are hilarious, but her storytelling is the absolute best. So if you need a little lighter read, this would be the one that I am eager to get back to, her world. Okay, so I will be back next week. We'll have another unboxing and we will do some nonfiction next week, okay? Thanks so much for joining me. If there's anything we can do for you at the library, please don't hesitate to ask, and I will see you all later. Thanks so much, everyone. Bye.